Everything woke turns to shit, okay? You know what woke means? It means you're a loser.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another edition of the YouTube channel Too Many Plugins. I'm your host Alex, and today we're going to talk about the wokeification and uglification of our society by all these media giants like Ubisoft and Disney and Hollywood. That is, all our media is being infiltrated by a bunch of activists that all have all sort of progressive left crazy agendas going. The issue this time, it is Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's a new Ubisoft game coming out. Let us just here jump quickly to the page. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be releasing November the 15th, 2024. Comes from Ubisoft in Quebec. And the main story is over here is the protagonist is a black protagonist in a Japanese story. Now, this story is relevant in some sense because there was in the 16th century one of the first black people to arrive and to come in Japan, but he was actually not a ninja. He was actually he came with the Jesuits ministry or something. He came like that. He came to Japan and was introduced to local population and was by the Jesuits, and he was more like a sword carrier. Caretaker of the swords and then carrying them around, as far as I understood it, played in the 16th century. Now, of all the people they could have grabbed from old Japanese history, and then especially the samurai history, there's so many better characters they could pick, but they needed to, of course, put in a Japanese game a black protagonist. Yeah, the wokeness is really off the chart over here, And the whole idea by this is, and because many people scratch their head, why are they doing that? Well, this is actually a form of pampering to China. I think maybe that is a little bit difficult for people to understand, but the next game that's going to come after this one, after Assassin's Creed Shadows, is going to be one that plays in Europe. Also in the 16th century. And that was codenamed Hex, is going to be in the 16th century of Europe, and is going to be probably also full of wokeness and of protagonists and that are totally of the wrong demographics. In other words, people that don't belong in that time frame, in that demographics. You can be sure of that, but then what it really goes about is about Assassin's Creed Jade, which is a mobile Assassin's Creed that's going to launch, and that's going to play in China in the year 2015 before Christ. And you will be able to parkour across the Great Wall. Now, what I can tell you about this game is this is for the Chinese market, and the Chinese market is the biggest mobile market in the world. And and I know that the Chinese and the Japanese don't go well together. That's just a fact. And this is a way of placing a black protagonist into Chinese history and the culture of samurais, to just distort and play again with reality and with distort basically a history. And now you think maybe, well, how are they pampering them? Well, the Chinese are very sensitive. EA can confirm that. They had several times games where they were trying to pamper to the Chinese, but still their games got banned over there because this didn't exactly the Chinese government didn't exactly like the narrative and the story, so it got immediately banned over there. And I can guarantee you that this story is going to be full of original Chinese glorification, including containing Chinese heroes and Chinese protagonists. They're not going to put a black person in here, that I can guarantee you. But because China and Japan don't work out really well together, besides the fact that Ubisoft is taking profit of the ESG DEI money that they get from BlackRock and from Vanguard, this is also an attempt to make sure that their next mobile game in China, which is a huge market, probably the biggest market in the world, not just for mobile gaming, that they don't piss off the Communist Party. And that's basically why they have done this, why they have placed this black protagonist in that story. The only one that they could find in Japanese story history, they have picked deliberately to again push this woke agenda of these left progressives and people that basically are living in a bubble and think that they can diversify everything by placing characters in places where they don't belong, as you have seen with Viking stories that they also contain black people in it, and Cleopatra, that's now black also, and the Hobbits and Middle Earth is one big rainbow color now also, and you can see where this is going, and also another thing about the uglification of video games. I'm going to play a little trailer here from Star Wars Outlaws. Just pay attention to how they have the main protagonist, how they have uglified her and gave her male characteristics, literally on purpose, and she, by the way, she's a model of a female model that is actually a very beautiful woman, but they have here completely uglified. But anyway, here we go. Check out first this one. After that, we'll play one over here of Derek Anderson, the author, who has a very good opinion also about this wokeification, and it's funny also to have also a black person to listen his opinion about. He doesn't like the wokeification also at all. But first, here is Star Wars Outlaws. Then after that, I'll play all without sound because Ubisoft. Otherwise, I'm going to get copyright strikes. And then after that, we'll play also of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the trailer. But here you go. Here's first Star Wars Outlaws. This game doesn't attract me at all. I like very much Star Wars games, but this game doesn't do anything for me. So there you go. And of course the whole female empowerment thing. And now we go to, all the characteristics here, completely as the characteristics of a male, this. He's completely uglified. Go and check out the actual model she's based on, which is a very beautiful woman that has very female characteristics. Not these lines and this nose and this cheek and this neck over here. Totally, even everything is just male characteristics. It's really crazy what they are doing with Western media. The Japanese don't do that. The latest game, Stellar Blade, seems like a revenge for Stellar Blade, where actually just feminist and attractive women are represented. And it got completely cancelled because it was actually showing that our Western woke media is literally uglifying our characters and substituting males with females, female empowerment, and substituting black people for white people in stories and in dialogues and in scenes where they don't belong, where it doesn't even make sense. Anyway, here we go a little bit to our friend Derek Anderson, the author, and listen to his opinion of somebody who's also black, Afro-American, as I assume. But just listen to his opinion.
What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, check it out, man. You guys probably knew I was going to have some conversations about this one right here with this Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer that just dropped, and the fact that the protagonist in this thing, or one of the playable characters, is going to be a black samurai. And I guess the reason that I'm tripping off of this, I don't really understand what wokeness is trying to accomplish anymore. I just don't get it. It's like, why not focus on a black character in Africa. If you want to push, like a black protagonist in this Assassin's Creed stuff, like you can see right now, the up and down is definitely in full effect. All right. It took a while to get caught up. Right now it's at 184K up, 186,000 down. It took a while, It was definitely more positive earlier on, but now we're starting to shift into the negative as people are starting to catch on and watch this trailer and say, this doesn't make any damn sense. And that's the problem with wokeness. Like, somebody help me. I don't speak like wokenese, all right? I don't understand woke morons. I don't understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And it seems like a lot of people don't understand them either. Yeah, Grums is like Ubisoft tries to be woke, picks Yasuke, a black man who was treated like a novelty item in a racist way by Nobunaga and never did anything of note except surrender, and names the game Assassin's Creed Shadows, invoking racist overtones. Who's the racist? Yeah.
I can tell you why is that. It's because it's all about identity politics. It's all about people are race obsessed, and it's literally the idea is to polarize and to literally fragment everybody in small little groups where we all hate each other and we're all in our own bubble with our own belief system, and these things are done because of that. And it's also literally done is because they prefer not to piss off the Chinese instead of pissing off the Japanese. And I find it very disrespectful that they do this to the Japanese people and to Japanese culture and the samurai culture. Samurai culture also, let's face it folks, samurai culture, not all of it, I don't understand it well, but an opinion I have also, it's a little bit also Viking culture. We in modern Western culture, we make samurais and Vikings heroes and romanticize a lot of them, but let's face it, many of them were murderers and rapists and thieves, and you had also ones that worked for the nobles, but my knowledge about that is not so great also, but they were also sort of a more ancient form of pirates. They were also, let's face that also, I'm not talking about all of them, because there were also groups that were literally for protecting the royalty, or were literally a military part of defending the country, that samurais and stuff like that, and the Vikings have participated. But all of them were also very lawless. But let's continue listening to Derek Anderson, because I always like very much his way of seeing the thing. So let's continue.
Like, Ubisoft, what are y'all doing here, man? Are y'all racist? Y'all trying to throw in some sneak race digs in there? Is that what's happening? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, if you want to tell a story about some sort of a black assassin, an African assassin, or whatever it is, why not actually depict real history? That's what these Assassin's Creed games are known for. It's actually digging in and giving us a look at, real history, So it's okay, if you're going to feudal Japan, which is apparently where they're at in this game, okay? If you're going to feudal Japan and you want to have ninjas and samurai, all right, we should expect to see some Japanese people. Why we got a black guy in here? Oh, it's because we want a virtue signal. We want a virtue signal. Look how special and important we are that we're doing this diversity and representation bullshit. But you're not representing feudal Japan at all. You're this guy doesn't represent feudal Japan. What the fuck is going on here? I don't understand it. If you want to do black representation, do it right. Okay? That's one of the biggest problems. You guys have heard me say this. It's okay, you have an opportunity to bring to light some actual history. All right? You can actually focus on real, actual historical black people and what was going on, and bring some actual stories of actual, history to life. You could.
But that's not what they want. They literally just want to kill our culture relentlessly and our history, and that's just what they are doing. They want to erase. That's the same story with the story of Cleopatra all of a sudden being black. They are doing this already for many years. They're trying to distort history, and they're using now movies and video games and even comic books. And normal books you find in the library to literally distort reality for people and erase history or create a new history what suits their agenda. And it's actually really scary, terrifying that they are doing this kind of thing. I'm very worried about the future if this kind of let's call it political brainwashing is going on. But let's continue.
Do that. instead of just going with some bullshit narrative. I don't understand wokeness anymore. I thought the point of the whole diversity push was to shine a spotlight on people that never get any love. You know, hey man, they don't ever give these cats love like we give to all of these other folks. So we're gonna give them some love. That's the representation. But then they don't do.
No, but it's not about that. And it's, you know, it's equity. And equity is, by the way, not inclusion, you know. Many people don't understand what equity really is. But equity doesn't mean inclusion for everybody. Equity is actually a form of racism. Inclusion, you know, you want to include everybody, but they don't do that because they're excluding actually other groups of people and parts of history to include their own political agenda, their own identity politics, and their own how do you call that? Political and social interests they are sticking into our media and changing everything, and also with all this woman empowerment and changing heroes black to white and white to Latin American, and it's all done with that intention, and they get of course that sweet DEI ESG money from BlackRock and from Vanguard, the investment companies, and they get very high ESG and DEI readings. What they're going to now call Bridge. They now changed the name because everybody starts being awake about this whole program. That's, by the way, also funded by some government institutions. I'm not going to call names, but and then BlackRock and Vanguard, which are the biggest investment companies in the world who have trillions and trillions to invest in media, and using that to literally force change into society, you know, and that is what's going on over here. But let's continue.
Do it right. They just virtue signal it, because what they wanted to do is they wanted to have this game on feudal Japan, but then they started thinking, damn, man, but we want some black people in there too. But it really wouldn't make any damn sense to put black people in feudal Japan. Oh, but then there's one guy, you know, that existed somewhere in history. All right, let's center it on that. And I'm like, that don't make any sense at all. No sense at all. And like, nobody's getting this. Nobody seems to understand this. Yeah, this is on Forbes. Japanese fans are puzzled that Yasuke is in Assassin's Creed Shadow. Yeah. Everybody's like, what? I don't get what's happening. Like I said, I don't speak the language anymore. I thought I had woke people figured out. And now they like, oh, screw Japan. You know, screw representing Japan properly and the Japanese culture properly. Let's throw a black samurai in feudal Japan like that was a thing that happened. And yeah, you're getting into this whole back and forth argument about Yasuke, you know, because he is a, you know, actual historical figure. But the reality is like, yeah, samurai? I don't think so. There's no proof of that at all.
But the whole idea is that they cannot make heroes, and they cannot enlighten and you know, make a beautiful historical story about real Japanese samurais, because that's going to piss off the Chinese, and that's why they've done it. And because our next game is going to be releasing, not the next game, but the game after is going to be releasing for mobile in China. This is why they are doing that. It's really because of that, and it's also because of the sweet ESG DEI money that they receive, and that is really the reason why Ubisoft have done this. And this is why everybody is so astonished, because now they really don't understand, because this doesn't make any sense if you look to the normal woke agenda, because people think now only that about Vanguard, about the ESG and DEI money. They're not seeing the problems that EA had also with releasing games in China, that if you don't pamper to the Chinese Communist Party, then your next game is not going to release in China, the biggest market and the biggest mobile market in the world. And this is why this is done like this. They are actually shooting two rabbits with one bullet. They get and the sweet ESG DEI money, and they can release their next game in China. And this is why this is being done. By the way, a fantastic story again. Thumbs up to Derek Anderson for his fantastic work always, the author.
There's people that write articles about it, but there's no damn proof. Like even this article talks about it. It says Yasuke was an actual historical figure that lived in Japan during the 16th century, most likely of African origin. He would have been around during this time period that the game is set. However, almost nothing is really known about Yasuke, which in part means he's a great narrative blank slate to work with, but that isn't, well, also without its pitfalls.
Yeah, and this is also very interesting. There's now groups of people, including probably people who are connected to Ubisoft and to the woke leftist groups, who are now quickly changing the story about this character, Yasuke, in the Wikipedia. The wiki page because it was saying all this information over there, but now quickly taking this information away, so you don't understand he was actually not a samurai, and he was actually not really significant in Japanese history. So there's now a whole war going on the wiki page. People are now in the last 2 or 3 days, hundreds of alterations are being made. People are adding stuff and taking it away, try to manipulate the history. So, but let's continue listening to Derek.
Because gamers have been waiting for Assassin's Creed to come to Japan for years now. It's the land of the ninjas, the epitome of stealth, so it has always been a perfect fit for a gaming series built around stealthy assassinations in an interesting historical context. Yeah, like people are like, yeah, we like these ninjas, and that would be cool if we got a game called Assassin's Creed, and you got to sneak up on people and kill them. Oh yeah, that would be so awesome, okay? So awesome to be a ninja trying to kill people. That's what it's all about. That's what this whole game series is about. So yeah, it made sense. Put it in Japan, have some ninjas, basic easy stuff, right? You can't screw it up, but somehow they did. Yasuke has been portrayed a bunch of different ways over the years in anime such as Afro Samurai and the more recent Yasuke on Netflix.
Yeah, no, it is really that, that he said they screwed it up again. No, they didn't screw it up. This was really on purpose. Don't think that, everybody thinks that all the time, that they just screwed up. No, they're not screwing up. And they know very good their demographics. They know very good their audience and their fans. And they know very good by analytics and by all sorts of things you can do using social media and stuff like that today. They know very good what their user base thinks of these kinds of things, but they don't care. They want the ESG money. They want to have the Chinese market. That's what it's all about, Continue, listen to Derek.
In these works, it was clear this was meant as entirely fictional what-if scenario, and they're all great. Having Yasuke depicted as a cool samurai was entirely fine, as it was clear there was a great deal of artistic license involved. All right. So, yeah, let's stop right there. They meant this to just be completely fiction. OK, absolute fiction. Both of these series. All right. Afro Samurai, which I like. OK, I think it's cool. I haven't seen Yasuke, but Afro Samurai is great. And it was absolutely meant to be pure fiction. All right. Didn't try to make any kind of, oh, yeah, this is actually real or anything. No. Pure fiction. OK. Now, contrast that with this next piece. The issue here, and one that Japanese gamers are pointing out in the trailer for the game and elsewhere online, is that Assassin's Creed is a series about retaining a degree of fidelity to historical events. So I don't want to hear people screaming and shouting, oh, it's just a game, it's supposed to not be real, and I don't want to hear that shit. That ain't what they've been doing in this series. All right. This is a departure from what the Assassin's Creed series has always been about. That in other games in the series, people of that locale and period were consistent with history and their varying host cultures. That's what it is. All right. And look, learning the law, manga lawyer. All right. Let me click on this tweet real quick. A Japanese reception from Ubisoft's latest video game, Assassin's Creed Shadow. One Japanese user says, for the first time, I understood what cultural appropriation was. Very diverse neo-colonialists we have here. Yeah.
That's totally correct, and that's exactly what's happening over here, And it's really sad to see that. This is what they are doing with history and with our culture, with our media. It's absolutely dreadful.
I mean, that's basically what we're doing, all right? It's like the shoe is on the other foot. They always crying about cultural appropriation when some white guy wants to have some, braids in his hair or whatever. Somebody want to put on certain kinds of clothes, hip hop clothes or whatever. And they want to look, yeah, man, I like the culture of black people. Oh, you're appropriating their culture. That's basically what you're doing. All right. And now this guy says, yeah, okay, that's what they talking about. That's what that means. Okay, I get it now. Except the problem is, again, just talking about the historical fidelity piece. Yeah, again, other games in the series, people of the locale and period were consistent with history. This is what Assassin's Creed has done. They keep it to the history. They keep it to the varying host cultures. They try to get as close to the original shit, right? They don't try to go all outside the box and start just inventing things. But apparently that's what they're going to do here because, yeah, there's no truth. There's no evidence anywhere about Yasuke being some sort of a black samurai. That is just, they're making it up, all right? Just like they were making it up in Afro Samurai and apparently this Yasuke on Netflix, which I haven't seen. They have completely made it up. And that's fine when you're making it up. But when you've been doing all of this like real life shit, like, well, why aren't you doing that? You know, it's too hilarious, man. So changing it here is odd and not in keeping with the other Assassin's Creed games, which is what Japanese fans are mostly pointing out online. In addition, a massive edit war has erupted on Wikipedia. Yeah. It's like everybody's over there on Wikipedia trying to like change history now. Yeah, this guy right here, Manga Lawyer, he said, one man is fighting a holy war against communist revisionists to prevent Yasuke from becoming progressive propaganda.
Exactly.
Hundreds of editors are now attacking Wikipedia to alter history, ensuring that AC's or Assassin's Creed Shadow doesn't receive too many blows. This is better than paying $70 to Ubaflop. Yeah.
Yeah, the $70 is, by the way, you get for $70 you get only the base game, and if you want the season passes and stuff like that with it, you pay 110. And if you want the Ultimate Edition with all the extras and 3 days early access, you pay $130 or $18 per month. So. We're going now, these are single-player games. Star Wars Outlaws is like that also. $130 for the full game with Season Pass, and which is kind of weird because they are single-player games. And we're now charging already. If you want to play the single-player game with everything included, single-player game, you get Season Pass in it, which doesn't make any sense for a single-player game. And then 2 extra levels, I think it is, or something, and then some cosmetic and stuff. You pay $130 for the game. So there we are already, guys. People are paying the double for games, single-player games, to get the season pass and 2 expansions. So there you go, folks. Let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, you see like all of these various changes going on over here with Wikipedia. I mean, it's just absolutely insane right now. And then Grums commented on it. The edit war over Yasuke is unreal and going crazy. Woke progressives really want to make him a samurai, despite there being no evidence he ever was. This is the real problem, not Yasuke being in the game. There is a battle to rewrite history to bolster the woke narrative, and this is the part that is absolutely insane.
100% correct. That I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, that's one of the big problems that you have when it comes to all of this woke shit is that, damn, that really didn't exist in history, did it? Remember like woke Cleopatra or black Cleopatra? You know, that Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh, I grew up on my grandmommy's knee and she told me that Cleopatra was black, so I believed her dumb ass. Like, we had that crap going on. Remember that? Instead of just saying, well, no, Cleopatra wasn't black, okay? And then they go out and make a whole series on it and just disrespect the Egyptian culture that way. And they're doing the same shit here. Oh, yeah, Yasuke. Oh, yeah. Samurai. All day long, baby. All day long. Okay. Instead of just saying, well, why don't we actually depict real history? You know, we want to put black people in an Assassin's Creed game in the series. Let's go to Africa and let's find some part of the culture. Exactly. You can depict the Zulus. All right. And you could have went deep into that. And really, like, hey, you know, let's go and get.
You know, instead of that, they changed Cleopatra, and then you have now. In the Viking games, you have black people, and it's all like really strange. And in you know, the Hobbit games and movies, you have now also just a whole diverse cast. Well, it's a story about it's a European story of J.R. Tolkien's, you know, that played in Europe. And of course, as you saw now in the new Snow White movie, that is also a complete disaster, complete flop, where the main protagonist that plays Snow White is a Latin American girl who's absolutely the terrible individual if you listen to her interviews. And while the story is a German story about a girl that her skin was white as snow. So there you go.
People a slice of the culture that they have never seen. You know, people don't really talk about it that much. Let's go ahead and put this in this popular video game series. Let's pay a lot of love and attention. Let's shine the spotlight on the Zulus. Nah. We not doing that. Okay? We just gonna make the samurai black. All right. We gonna make the samurai black, done deal. We ain't got to do nothing else. All right. 2 birds, 1 stone. That's how they got it down, right? Lazy. All right. No wonder people hate Ubisoft. All right. No wonder people hate these cats. Same shit with Star Wars Outlaw. Just being lazy as hell. How's this thing doing? Is it Oh, yeah, it's getting worse. Okay. Yeah, it's getting worse right now. Okay. 193K down. Yep, utter trash. But see, again, this is what happens when, your whole point is to virtue signal and you don't really understand. You don't really care what the customers are looking for. You're like upsetting the culture that you're trying to represent right now, Japanese culture, and you're upsetting them because you're so focused on the wokeness that you can't even see straight anymore.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they want to do also. They want to just pamper to the Chinese and to the left progressives and all these social justice warriors and armchair executives / activists that have infiltrated all our media, politics, the education system, and actually almost anything in our life today is run and infiltrated by a bunch of activists who only make many noises, but as they say, actions speak louder than words. Most of it are just words. None of them actually do any kind of action in their life really besides getting triggered on Twitter, and that goes also for these activist groups of the environment who just scream murder and fire, but for the rest only break shit and never actually change something in the world and just complain all day. So but that's my opinion about that. There you go, let's continue.
That's what's hilarious about this. That's what's truly hilarious about it. But like I said, my main thing is this is the opportunity to do the representation that you claim you care about so damn much. All right, let's go ahead and represent. All right, instead of giving us this crap, right? Instead of giving us this crap, give us like, oh, okay, we're going to actually depict a Zulu nation or something like that. And then we're going to set it in Africa. And then we're going to really deep dive, try to understand the culture, try to see all the different things that we could bring out of the culture historically. So it fits right in line with all of the other games in the Assassin's Creed's, set of games. Instead of doing that, we're going to give you black samurais. All right. Done deal. All right. We lazy. We don't feel like doing it. All right. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I just find the whole thing hilarious. I mean, it's just too damn funny, man. I don't understand woke people anymore. That's the real takeaway for me. I thought I understood exactly what they want. I don't even understand these fools anymore. And I don't think they understand themselves. All right. These people are lost in the sauce. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching.
Okay, yeah, it is really like that, and it's just very difficult to understand. But all these agendas that they are running, and what they are doing, it's sometimes really difficult to see the whole picture of this. But it is really a shame that this is happening with our media and our culture. And I agree, by the way, completely with Derek Anderson about what he's saying about this, And I'm also all in for diversity, but then not forced diversity. So give everybody equal chances and put people in the right place, in the right story, the right demographics in the right story, and in the right place, And that's what people just all pick up. They see movies where characters are now represented because of inclusivity and diversity, but they don't fit the image, they don't fit the story, they don't fit the narrative, and that is a really shame to see this forced diversity and inclusion being forced down our throat. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser.
In the next one.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay? You know what woke means? It means you're a loser.